looks like we're going to start the next match soon. Red Circle have gone for the Minmatar Rush setup. So this setup is Broadsword, Sleipnir, Curse, and 2 burst Repi frigates. So I'm just going to lock them all up now. And Kiwi are landing on the side. I'll tell you what they've got in a minute. Who am I missing? Ah, yes. Can you guys hear my kid in the background, by the way? Or have I suffocated him enough? Okay. He's just being stubborn. Who's this Aaron Pike? He looks like he's flying for QE. Is that Jiv? Okay. It's confusing my view. I'll unfuck that later. Okay, so Zen, if you wanted to start the 1-minute countdown in local for me. And we'll just go over what the teams are flying. Okay, interestingly, again, mirror matchup. Both teams have selected to go for Minmatar Rush. This is interesting. Both teams are rocking the Sleipnir, the Broadsword, 2 Repi frigates, and a Curse. I like this is going to be hopefully quick and nasty. The Broadsword is actually an interesting ship. I didn't actually consider it when I was building my setups, trying to guess what turn left might bring. Because I'm a bit of a tournament nerd. The second the devlog was released, I got my tournament calculator out. I was trying to figure out what sort of things they could do. Hicks went on my overview. I wasn't thinking about Hicks because in tournaments they are usually a laughing stock because they have low DPS and their utility abilities, i.e. bubble and super long range, like the point thingy, are completely useless in tournament setting. But they have been rebalanced by CCP in the last few months. I can't remember which patch it was, if anyone can remember. And actually the Broadsword can do 500 DPS while sporting a beastly little tank and go quite quickly, so it is perfect for this kind of like brawly, tackly job. If I was the teams, I would send the Broadsword straight at the enemy lodges to pin them down, because it can survive with that ASB without its own lodges. So Zone has already called 1-minute local. Just looking for that 10 seconds. There we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the teams are away. So Trekkie have all come in at 30 kilometers, with the exception of the Broadsword. While Questionable Ethics looks like they've got both their Broadsword and their Sleipnir at 0 on the beacon. They start pounding on not sure what. There's no damage coming from QE side. While Calexis and the Sleipnir is taking damage, he's not going anywhere. He's sitting on top of the beacon. So presumably he's having issues shooting something, or he's trying to project damage onto something that's out of range. What's he doing? I'm not really sure. Denosaur and the Curse is solidly neuting out the other Curse. This is interesting. Both curses are neuting each other. So who can cat boost the best, I guess, will win that war. I would personally be neuting whatever the DPS is primarying to completely fuck over their tank. Oh, it does look like Trekkie are neuting out Calexis now, and he's really struggling. He's boosting a little bit. I don't think he's overloading those boosts because they do not seem to be jumping as much as they should be. He's getting reps from his Logi frigs, and he's boosting occasionally. He got down to about 20% shield, but he's slowly pulling it back now. As the Trekkie Broadsword that is in that little melee in the middle is taking damage. So Newt's flying everywhere now, Logi frigs flying everywhere. Are we going to see the team switch to those? I'm not sure. It looks like the QE frigates are kind of keeping it to the back of the pack, while the Trekkie bursts are below the pack, should we say. They have limited repping range, these things. It's 20 kilometers. You can't kite away like you normally would in a Sleipnir. You have to be quite up in the face of the enemy. Calexis now, he's still getting reps, but he's still getting hit quite hard. There's not a super amount of DPS on the field. Sleipnir is rocking about 800, 900 overloaded, depending on whether or not the hail using hail and stuff. Broadsword's kicking out about 500 and the Curse is doing about 200. So there's not a huge amount of DPS on the field. There's turn left have interestingly gone for quite setups like they normally do, which is, they're quite heavy in damage mitigation. They like to avoid damage, and if they can do that, they know they win the game in the long run because they'll capitalize on enemy mistakes, and that's usually how they win matches. Interesting though, the QE side have actually gone for one of the Logi frigates, Dog Superhero rather, in the base, taking a lot of damage. I don't see any newts going onto these Logi frigs, which I would have thought would be. Oh, here we go. As I say that, it looks like QE are newting out Dog, so he's down to half shielding him. He's got reps from his buddy. He's not going to hold long. He's got a bunch of drones after him. All T1 drones for this tournament, which is an interesting decision by CCP. They've decided to go for banning T2 drones in an effort to kind of balance out the fact they are these kind of E-War immune things that teams can use to get round. And Dog, he's taking damage now, he's in hull, and that's it, he's eliminated. So, Trekkie down to one Logi frig. I keep spinning the camera around a lot, that's to help me talk. This probably doesn't make things very pretty for you, but hopefully you can see what's going on here. So there's kind of brawl breaking out in the middle, while the Logi frigs are around the edge. QE now, chunky in the base, got a bunch of drones on him, but I can't see any other damage going to him. Oh, sorry, missed that. The other Trekkie repping frigate died, so that leaves the Curse vulnerable now. He's not no local tank, and he's got no Logi frigs to keep him alive. However, the QE Curse is coming on a ton of fire, and the QE frigates do not seem to be able to keep him up. He's just about to dip into armor. If he hits armor, he's in trouble. He's going to just completely dissipate. There we go. Let me say, he hits armor and he's going down hard. So, QE, if this guy dies, are going to be left with their two Logi frigates and Sleipnir a broadsword. And yeah, they can't seem to pull this curse back, even though but yeah, he's gone. So this is not over yet. Trekkie's still in the game. Remember, the Sleipnir and the Broadsword have got excellent local tanks if they're reloading charges between targets. Calexis now. Zen, can you just do me a favour and keep an eye on the time, because I'm not doing that at all, and just shout at me if it gets down to like a minute or something. So Calexis now is taking a pummeling in the Sleipnir. He's not shield boosting, it doesn't seem. The Logi frig's just keeping him topped up here and there. Denosaur in the Curse now. He's got no reps, of course, to save him. He has got hostile DPS ships on top of him, so he's not going to be long for this world. He's got Sleipnir right on top of him. He's got Broadsword right on top of him. He's taking 1,000 DPS. I did put quite a decent buffer on these Curses, because I figured they'd probably need it, being in a rush team, but it's not going to last long. However, Trekkie have taken out a Logi frigate, and it looks like they might go for the other one, which would make things even-ish. We might come down to a Sleipnir versus Sleipnir brawl, which would be lovely to see. I love the Sleipnir. How are we doing for times there, and how many minutes have these teams got left? Oh, I can't hear him because he's got himself muted. But hopefully he'll let me know in local. It looks like they've got 2 minutes left to go. Okay, so this might go to points, and it would be quite interesting if it's Broadsword and Sleipnir versus Broadsword and Sleipnir. Although Calexis, possibly out of charges, dipping quite hard, or maybe he's charged. Oh, yeah, thought so. He's going to sort of bait tank a little bit. So he's at 50% shield. Mr. Floydy keeping him topped off while he uses his charges sparingly. He's started to use them quite hard now, so he's almost back up to full shield. So that, I think that, unless Charo, Rackham on the Trekkie teams are doing the same, which I doubt. He hasn't got that Logi frig backing him up either. I think the Trekkie are going to take this, unless he starts. Oh, he's boosting now as well. So we have two heavily tanked local tank ships brawling it out with each other. Can one of them kill each other in a lot of time? I'm not sure. Mr. Floyd now, relatively unthreatened, just kind of dilly-dallying around the Airage arena. I think he's pulled quite far range looking at it. He might be thinking, okay, well, neither of these guys are going to die in the time limit. Let me just hang out at the back, and that's tip it for QE on points, which is something they might want to think about doing now if neither team thinks they're going to break the other one's super strong local tanks. So they're really close now. Calexis is still boosting, as is the Trekkie Sleipnir. Be interesting to see if anyone's burnt out any guns at this sort of stage in the match. It looks like Zen, can you give me a shout out when you think it's going to go down to like 20 seconds or so? I probably should have been checking. If you could do me like a 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 2, 2, 1 in local when you think they're going to run out of time. Oh, it looks like 3 minutes left. Oh, forgive me. Sorry, I thought he said just 2. Okay, so the Trekkie Sleipnir now is in armor. Looks like he's out of charges, and he's got no Logifigs repping him. I think this is game over. Calexis also dropping though. You never know. Illy in the broadsword might be able to take him out. Although he's going to be struggling with only 500 DPS with Hail. That Logifrig is probably going to keep Calexis alive pretty strong, because the T2 resist on the Sleipnir will mean that every little bit of reps that you can get from that Logifrig are really going to help him. Illy now taking big hits, taking 1,000 DPS or so from those other 2 ships, with no friends of his own to keep him alive. I think it's going to be 2-0 to Questionable Ethics. I'm kind of quite shocked. I thought Trekkie would be doing a bit better than this, but looks like they're going to lose this match as well. Illy just hanging in there. Some nice neuting effects going on. I did put small newts on his broadswords. I'm not sure why. I just figured it'd be useful if you do snag a Logi or whatever to put a little bit of extra pressure. Had a little bit of power grid spare. Not really sure what else you put in the top. You've got a spare high slot on these ships. Smarties. I'm not really a big fan of smart bombs myself, but I guess they might work against small Logi drones and stuff. So Illy just burning through charges now, and he's in very, very low shield. He's in armor now, structure, boom. Okay, so the second match goes for Trekkie. They've got to pull out a win in the next one, or the tournament will go to them. Hopefully we'll see a mismatch in team setups next time, keep things interesting. But this has been 2 really fantastic close fights, and been fun to watch. So we'll be back with you shortly, guys, in around about 10-15 minutes, whenever the teams have picked their new setups and got ready to go.